always something jumping at R8RBEAR family page. Oh, and everyone, yes, please calm down. This is really my mustache. It's not fake. Okay, books and all. Oh. What? R8RBEAR! Woo! Let's go! What? You know what's up. 3 more days. Just 3! And then your boy, Ashton Jeanty, also breaks down this draft. Oh, no. Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah, that fool with no hair, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! The R8RBEAR! R8RBEAR! No, look, I'm telling you, the draft is going to be nice. I'm excited about it, but I'm excited about it for a reason that will probably surprise you guys, but we'll see what's up. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Real quick, let's get the formalities out of the way. Please consider a subscription to R8RBEAR family page. It's just $5 a month, and you can cancel at any time, but you won't want to. And that's only for those of you on Facebook. YouTube, it's totally free, so just click that little subscribe button, hit like, and we will get this thing rolling. Now, I realize some of you who are on YouTube may not have hit like and subscribe yet. Come on. I'm trying to get better about that. just about everything I watch, if it entertains me, I try to at least give a like and a subscribe, or just a like. So, to me, that's the best way to handle it. All right, so what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. But first, Tradish! Woo! R8RBEAR Live! First comment, MVP tonight goes to that Moji-making heavyweight champion of the world, Mark Vargas! Mark, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Appreciate you, brother. Second place, silver medal, Essay! Big Dog! Sub D, welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, becoming a regular guy quickly with the show. Third place, bronze medal, my good friend, Bob! Except when he talks to me about the Atlanta Braves. I mean, for crying out loud. Just come on, man. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the 5th round of an MMA fight, and you're already stomping on my throat, and you still want to take the time to throw elbows? I mean, really, Bob? Really? You know what I mean? Hi, Casey! Standard! And I am not becoming a cat person, and I do not want to hear that again. I am not, repeat, not a cat person. I love my pooches. I don't even own a cat. The cats that live here are my daughters. So those don't count. Oh. Facebook! Number 1, numero uno, el jefe, Carlos, your heavyweight champion. Boykins! What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always defending the strap like a champ. But I see our usual second place finisher has been usurped tonight by a young lady that this show knows and loves. Come on, you know who it is. Karina! Woo! Hello! Stars given to the show directly impact this bell right here, which I use to celebrate those individuals that give coins to the show, and I really appreciate it when you do that because it supports us and it helps us keep the show rolling. Third place bronze medal goes to... Is this your first one, Joe? I can't remember. I mean, I am a grandpa. Joe, is this your first one? Joe Holman! Joe, what's up, man? I had to give you a good one because we don't know when you'll be back. Oh, subtle trash talk from the medal round. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. Honorable mention on Facebook, on YouTube to my guy, Raider Paul. Raiders! What's up, Raider Paul? Good job telling them. And also honorable mention to Chris Strong on Facebook. Appreciate you tuned in. And Jim Garrison. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. All right, so we have some obvious stuff to talk about tonight. And some stuff that, I would appreciate some input from you guys. We'll see how that goes. But here's the thing. I'm starting to think that trading down is going to end up being the Raiders' best move, or at least the move that most of us might agree on. Now, I'm going to make it very clear. For the last quite a while, quite a few shows, I've been saying Ashton Jeanty, and I don't like backing off unless I have reason to back off. Now, the only reason I would say I have reason to back off that pick is not because I think it's wrong, but because I don't think the pick is going to make it to us. I don't see Ashton Jeanty getting past the Patriots. And then not only that, the Patriots are being wined and dined by the Chicago Bears, who've made it very clear they want to move up for Ashton Jeanty. So there's a very high likelihood that Jeanty won't even be on the board when we get to make our picks. So with that being said, we have to now talk tonight about where are they going to go outside of Ashton Jeanty, because I've had my mind made up. It's him. And so when I've been doing my show and talking to you guys about it, I've pretty much been talking to you from the aspect of, I expect this to be a done deal. It's Ashton Jeanty. Because I really thought there wouldn't be too many football teams that were willing to go that high in the first round and pay a running back. Well, I'm wrong. And I think it's because the Ashton Jeanty effect is starting to, hit more than just us. There's, from what I understand, at least 6, maybe 7 teams that see Ashton Jeanty as that dude. You know what I mean? I'm surprised by it. I'll believe it when I see it, you know what I mean? Because obviously a lot of this is just, subterfuge, trying to trick you guys. But I'm not off Ashton Jeanty. I just think he's not going to be our pick because he's going to be off the board. Now, just to make it make all sense, just to make it all make sense, if Jeanty's on the board when we pick, we're going to take him. I just believe that. But I don't think he's going to make it to us now. I don't think he's going to fall that way. Urban Gonzalez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Lucky Piss, always there for a Raider Bear. John the Lion, Leon, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Bro Bear, you got that Snidely Whiplash vibe going on. What's up, brother? Joe, I always appreciate a good laugh. Chuck Lloyd, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Tremail Henson, Tremail, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Yo. Steve and Sean, how you doing, man? I always enjoy when my guy Steve and Sean is on, because even his wife watches the Bear. That's right. Got to get more ladies, you know what I mean? I know there's more ladies that like football. I'd like to get more ladies, get their perspective on things from time to time. How about that game 1 road win for our Warriors in Houston last night? Scotty Lutz, that was a beautiful thing. I'm very excited because I knew that we could break Houston's defense, but I didn't think it would be that easy. You know what I mean? They just came unglued. But they probably will get their stuff together for game 2, I got to imagine. All dogs go to heaven. Who cares where cats go? Well, in truth, Jim Garrison, there are many, especially of the Egyptian gender, that believe that cats are the gates to heaven and hell. Hold the gates to heaven and hell, or guard the gates to heaven and hell. Say it that way. Denton Rhodes, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I don't want to trade back, Bear. Mark, I don't think trading back is necessarily a great idea either. But do you want to pay a corner like Will Johnson, sixth overall money? I know he's good. I've seen it. I can feel you typing it. Bear, come on, you got to be kidding me. Haven't you seen what he did at Michigan? Yes. You type that fast. I've seen the kid. I think he's great. I love the idea of getting him. But if we trade back in the first, I honestly, I just think he's going to be there. So if we drop from 6th to 12th or 6th to 18th, I believe he's going to be there. And if he's not, there's other guys. You know what I mean? There just are guys. This draft, I don't know how to say it. I know some of you probably agree with me about this, but this draft is looking weirder by the day. It's one of the hardest drafts, in my opinion, to discern where to go, because so many of the guys, it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? And obviously you want 10s whenever you can get them. But on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say only 7s are available, okay? And you're looking for a running back, and you need a 7. There's 5 7s to choose from. And then if you get to the 5th round and you need a cornerback, there's 10 cornerbacks to choose from. And you could close your eyes and pick one, and it's going to end up being pretty good. That's what I'm getting at. This is going to sound weird, but what the rest of the league sees as a lack of depth in this draft, or there's not that much star talent in this draft, I completely disagree. I think this draft is one of those ones where you got to understand what you don't know. And there are going to be a handful of guys in this draft that are going to turn out to be like dudes. I mean, going to the Hall of Fame, knocking dudes down, raw dogs, captains of teams. There's dudes in this draft. There are. I'm telling you. And they're saying there's only a handful, maybe 12 tops. I think there's 12 damn near at every position. And as crazy as that sounds, bear with me. Bear? The R8RBEAR! All right. But I'm sorry, I had to take a couple days off, so I'm like all amped up to talk to Raider Nation. But I exaggerated there. There's not 12 guys at each position, but I would say 7, 8 is kind of the rule. And then where you have a weak draft, there's only 4 or 5 guys available at that position throughout the country. So that's weak. But that have the potential to be stars, not just good players. There's way more than that guys in this draft that could turn out to be good players. I'm just talking about, for a moment, stars. In other words, Ashton Jeanty is going to be you see what I'm saying? Is he going to be good, or is he going to be Saquon Barkley? You know what I mean? That's what these guys have to figure out. What I'm getting at is I think that there might be a lot of guys in this draft that you could say this guy's number 1, and this guy's number 1A, and this guy's number 1B, and this guy's number 1C, where it's hard to discern who really is the best guy because there's depth. I think we're going to see some interesting guys come out of this draft. Arnie Garza, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I can't get on board with trading down. They need to get aggressive and trade up, and you know who I think they should snag. Well, Joe, if I'm not mistaken, if I've been watching you and listening to you, and I have, I believe you're an Abdul Carter guy. Now, I like Abdul Carter. I think there is a chance that he could fall to 2 or 3 at most, but I don't think he can go lower than that. So looking at the draft order, let me pull that up for a second. Okay, so the Titans are going to go quarterback almost for sure and take Cam Ward. So that just eliminates that. So I always like to tell Raider fans, be excited, because even though you think you have the 6th pick, you really have the 5th pick, because we already know what the one's picking, and it's not something that hurts us. Obviously, we'd like to have Cam Ward, but there's a ton of other quarterbacks that will be possibilities, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the Browns probably are going to look defensive, or someone's going to trade up. Maybe that's where the Bears make their move at 2 and go after Ashton Jeanty there. Now, then it gets hairy, because when you're at 3 with the Giants, they're thinking Sheduer Sanders. That means Travis Hunter would fall all the way to 4th. This is a guy who thinks he's a first-round pick, has been shouting at every reporter, I'm the first-round pick. Now, I realize that's what you should do as a player. He's trying to maximize his money. So for those of you who say, oh, that kid shouldn't be so arrogant, try to remember, it's not that he's arrogant. He's trying to get every penny out of this moment that he can, because it's once, and that's it. You know, it's once. You fall from first, you lose millions, guys. In fact, I would argue from first pick to third pick, you drop like 40 million. Easy. You know what I mean? In bonuses, incentives, and so on that you get included on so on, how much guaranteed money, et cetera, et cetera. You lose millions every pick you go down in the top 10. After the top 10, you still lose money at 11, 12, 13, 14. It's just not as much. It's not as much. The value placed on 10 from first to 10 is much higher. But those guys are in our way. And I mean, the Bears, where'd it go? Okay, sorry. The Bears they're at 10. So see, that's an attractive spot. So I could, for example, if somehow Ashton did fall to 6th, I could see the Bears offering us their 10 and maybe something in the second round or third round, or maybe 2/3, something like that. If the Bears offered that, I'm biting. And as far as Joe, I know you said no trading down, but I'm sure if I know you just from looking at you and how you've been talking football with me, I'm guessing you would be okay to go from 6th to 10th. I really do, because there's just going to be so many guys still on the board. You know, we remember we need help at wide receiver, we need help at linebacker, we need help at offensive lineman. Obviously we're thinking quarterback, but I think that kid, I don't even want to wait. I'm just going to tell you what I was going to tell you about. Let me go up here and pull up my board, because I know I have it here. I just want to pull up his name real quick. Okay, positions. Yes, there. Whoops. Okay, sometimes I move the mouse too fast and other stuff jumps up. Okay, and then I got to go to the second page. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, let me bring this up. Okay, so I'm getting vibes off of what is the number 11 ranked overall quarterback, Tyler Show. 6'5", 220 pounds. To me, prototype quarterback build. Big enough that he can take a little bit of a pounding, but still lean enough because of his height that he's got probably a little bit of speed. Coming out of Louisville College, Chandler, Arizona is his hometown. I don't know. I'm kind of getting on the whole Tyler Show thing. I think that's a guy that they could get with a second or third round pick. He's going to still be around, because there's enough guys ahead of him that it could get interesting when you consider Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, Dylan Gabriel, Riley Leonard, Curtis Rourke. All those guys are ahead of him on the board. That's 8 different quarterbacks. So see, to me, the idea that Tyler Show is going to be there in the second, maybe even in an early third round pick, I'm starting to hear talk about Tyler Show. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's the first time you're hearing talk about Tyler Show to the Raiders. It's been talked about, but it was a while back, and then they kind of dropped it, and now they've been going on to all these other things with Jeanty, and do they move up for Sheduer, and so on and so forth. Ellis Irving, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I'm doing good. Bear, if Jeanty's gone before our pick, who is your top 10 talent at 6th still available? That's a better question for me to answer in that way. So let me go back here. Okay, so at 6, let me go down here real quick. Okay, so at 6, I think that Mason Graham is going to still be there. And I think that there's a chance that Mason Graham could fill a hole for us in the middle as far as quarterback pressures. We've got something in John Jenkins as far as a stopper in the middle. But after that, most of these guys, like Butler, Adam Butler, they're guys, they can play the run, but they're not going to burst through any team's offensive line, and they're not going to get to quarterbacks or even pressure quarterbacks. Not really. I think that Mason Graham is a massive upgrade there. I do. And I'm sorry I'm not going with like the sexy pick because people don't, necessarily see defensive linemen. Oh, that's cool. But the only other guy I would go to is one that a lot of the scouts are talking about, and that's Tetairoa McMillan. I'm sorry if I'm butchering. I'm sure I'm butchering most of these guys' names. But look at me with all the bias. He goes to Arizona. The last guy goes to Arizona State. Oh, that's killing me. Tetairoa McMillan, 6'4", 219 pounds. Again, good frame. Wide receiver had, 84 receptions and 1,319 yards and 8 touchdowns. I don't know. I mean, the guy's got nice numbers. He's got a frame. He gives us a genuine number one wide receiver. I like it. I like it. Wide receivers get picked in the first round. Quarterbacks get picked in the first round all the time. I like it. And I feel like he's going to be there, no doubt. I think there's no doubt he'll be there at 6. And see, so to me, maybe arguably one of the best wide receivers coming out of college. I'm looking at him. Now, if Travis Hunter's there, though, what do we do with that? You know what I mean? I mean, there are people that had him ranked as the overall most talented guy in the draft, period. You know what I mean? So whoever picked first is supposed to pick him, period, whether he's a need or not. That was the first, things coming out about Travis Hunter. We can't forget that now just because we get caught up in all the draft, minutia, talking about it nonstop. Wow, what a great family photo, bro. That was great. For the past 2 decades of failure, with the exception of Crosby, why should we ever discuss the Raiders draft picks? That's a great question, Tremail, and I want to answer that. The reason we should discuss it is because every single year is another year that the regime could be different, and that's what we have here. You have a regime change. Now, the owner's always going to be the owner, okay? But you've brought in a new coach, a coach with experience, with a history of how he drafts. We can look at that, and that can give us some insight as to how he's going to do things. We know Pete Carroll, for example, isn't afraid to go against conventional standards that say, oh, you must get the best guy here. And he, in his heart, says, yeah, well, I love this guy. I say my eye for talent says that guy is a first-round pick. Bring him in, you know what I mean? And if it's Will Johnson, it's Will Johnson. I hate to say I would trust it, but I would. Because we all know what Pete Carroll's background is as a defensive backs coach, specifically. Not just defensive coach, defensive backs coach. The word guru gets thrown around with him because he actually throws schemes into the defensive package that are just for the defensive backs to be able to communicate on plays without shouting anything at each other, without even being able to see each other. They just have to be able to see each other's hands, making signals just as the quarterback is making decisions. And if they do certain gestures behind their back, think of it like how a person looks. I think you can see it, but how a person looks like when they're in the handcuff position. So you put your hands right behind your lower back and you're just giving signals to the safeties. And then the safeties know how to help the corners on that play. It's brilliant. And I'm not saying it hasn't been around for a long time. I'm saying that Pete Carroll is one of the best at putting wrinkles in it and making sure the players learn it solid to where now you're crispy on every audible. Guys are going to all know where they're supposed to be and they're on the same page. Whereas if you get audibles on the defense and guys aren't on the same page, you get guys wide open for touchdowns. Frank Connolly, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Trade up and get Jeanty. Bob, I don't really have a problem with that. Let me see. If the Raiders gave up their 6, they could go to... I know the Giants. I'm pretty positive Sheduer Sanders is going to the Giants, guys. I don't know why there's so many people against Sheduer Sanders. I mean, a lot of Raider Nation doesn't want Sheduer Sanders. I'm not saying that I haven't seen him play football. I have. I've seen him make mistakes, so on. But the guy is the number one rated quarterback coming out of this draft. It's him and Cam Ward are 1 and 1A. You know what I mean? And most of the stat people see it as Sheduer. They think the Cam Ward thing is a little bit of overkill. That Cam Ward will come in and he'll be nice, but he's going to be a little bit more of a physical player at first. Look to run first, sometimes tuck the ball, when he shouldn't. Guys are open, but he makes a decision because he reads things wrong and so on. He's still a little bit raw, whereas Sheduer has seasons under his belt watching. And don't make light of the video study he's going to learn from the experience his father had. This guy's going to come into the league ready to go. Now, is he going to be cocky? Of course. I mean, what guy that thinks he's going to be a star isn't? And is going to be rich. You know what I mean? But I look past that. I really do. That's not one of those situations where arrogance is going to take him out of his game and we don't get the best results we could possible with him. Does that make sense? I think we can get that. Because remember, his dad did it. His dad did it and gave you some of the greatest play we've ever seen at cornerback. So if he can do it, showboating, why couldn't his son? Well, because sons are never as good as their fathers. Never. They can be even better than their fathers, but they have to find their own path. They can't try to follow the dad in his path and then expect him to be the same. It's not. It's just not. Bear, Sanders, Graham, Johnson, or Membobu. Choose one, 6th pick. Choose one as a trade down to the 9th pick. Oh, okay. At the 9th pick, I like Johnson. Don't laugh at me. I know. I said I don't like him at 6. But at 9, to me, that's a lot less money. A lot less money. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about 3 or 4 picks down. You know what I mean? I just, at 9, I wouldn't mind it. I like Will Johnson. I do. Will Johnson, 2 injuries worry me. Tanamoku, they don't worry me because we have had many guys come in from college now with 3 or 4 surgeries and then go right into the pros and play well. So even Josh Jacobs had a handful of surgeries when he was coming out and we picked him up. Eddie, all the way from the land of whiskey and crumpets, traveled an ocean for this coin, so I give him the pinky salute. Teddy Blair, appreciate the love on the stars. Ramiro, Ashflow, Astro. What's up, bro? Oh, what's up, Bear? Hope your Easter was great. Armando Medrano, it was great. Appreciate you, brother. Welcome to the show. Jesse Parker, my fashion designer. Hi, Cheyenne. I'm really glad she liked the stuff we sent for her birthday. Jonathan Joseph Fernandez, trading up would be, well, I can't say that, but it would be tar dead. I'll just say tar dead instead of the whole word. Jonathan, I don't think it would be that bad. I just don't think it's something we need to do. There's enough talent in this draft that whoever we pick at 6 should be a guy that has a genuine shot at being a starter for the Raiders. No pressure. Are you having a draft day show? You make it so much fun. Please do it. Bill, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I do a draft show every year. I've only taken 1 year off, and that was because I was asked to by another podcast that didn't want me to draw away their audience. I said okay, and then they had a subpar show. I'll just say that. It didn't go well. So, yes, I probably will be doing my show, Bill. Carter is the only guy I'd be cool with trading up for. Tanamoku, I don't know if he's the only guy, but I agree. That's a guy trading up for. I would sign on for that. Jonathan Joseph, I don't think that Jeanty's going to be there at 6. You're hearing now interest from the Patriots and the Bears. The Patriots are already in front of us, and the Bears are trying to trade up. That's a fact. Now, whether it's actually to get Ashton Jeanty or not, who knows? But it seems like that might be the target. Maybe that's where maybe that's a bluff. Maybe they're going after Travis Hunter. Epalahame. Damn, that's a great name, dude. I'm sorry I'm butchering it. Mr. Kava. I'm going to go with that. If Travis Hunter is there at 6, what do you do? Oh, damn. Good question. See, to me, if Travis Hunter is there at 6, now my hands are tied. Because, see, you would be bringing in a guy who not only already is confident in himself, not only is one of the best corners, if not the best corner coming out of college football, but he would be joining one of the best defensive backs coaches that the NFL's ever had, and coming into it with Jeremy Chin already brought in on safety to watch his back. I mean, we brought in the defensive back. I'm forgetting his name now, and I feel stupid, but what was his name? The other cornerback, Oaks or Stokes? Stokes. We brought in Stokes. I think Stokes is going to be really good for us, guys. I really do. So you add Stokes, that pickup, and then you go after Will Johnson. And if he's at 6, I mean, not Will Johnson, Travis Hunter. If Travis Hunter's at 6, I mean, 6? I mean, people had him projected as 1 overall. If it's 6, Here, I'll put up what he said. It's a no-brainer at 6, okay? Oh, no, not Jackson Dart at 6. That's too high. But Jackson Dart did more than a little bit of stuff. I mean, if you go back and look at his record in school, he broke Eli Manning's yardage record. That's not a little thing. You know, now, Eli was not the greatest quarterback. I mean, we all know that. I mean, he sort of rode on his last name and his brother's fame. Ooh, his last name and his brother's fame. I have to give that to my son for one of his rap tracks. But it's still pretty nice because he was good at Ole Miss. I have to chime in here on behalf of my little ones. Laugh out loud. I wrote out the estimated top 10 drafts picks on slips of paper and shuffled them around. Princess Catherine put her hand on Jeanty, and Prince William slapped his on Carter. Well, you tell Catherine and William we appreciate the love here at R8RBEAR family page. Way to go, Tim. I can't wait for it to be over. Well, yeah, because it is stressful, but not because of the dialogue about mock drafts and who should you pick. I enjoy this stuff. I really do. I've never understood why it bothers people. The only thing I just try to remind everyone is that there's just one rule and one rule only. Almost all of us are wrong. Almost all of us are wrong. If I get something wrong, if I said to you, oh, they're definitely going to do this, and I get it wrong, there are scouts and analysts and guys on TV all over the country. They all get it wrong. You know, all these mock drafts done by newspapers and so on. So, because you can't factor in who might trade up or who might trade down. You know what I mean? You just can't factor that in. You can't factor in what the Titans might do. I think the Titans could be full of garbage about taking Cam Ward. Not because Cam Ward doesn't deserve the pick, but because they picked Will Levis. Now, they may already know he's an idiot, and from what I can tell, they do. Put foots in him! Putting this whole bear paw on him, okay? I actually liked Will Levis, okay? I was a little bit bummed that the Raiders didn't get a shot at Will Levis. Now it turns out he's a nincompoop and a numbskull. Bear! What's up, Oscar? Welcome to the show. Oh, look at her. What a cutie. Oh, Stephen Marchand, I'm doing great, man. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. If we can jump up to snag Abdul Carter, then if the deal was right, maybe I could get behind trading back to 10th. Oh, yeah, about what I said about Carter's measurables. You're right. They do pad those stats, especially pre-draft, and I'm not saying that Carter is another Crosby, but Crosby was a little bit light in the when he came out of the draft, too. Joe, honestly, that's a fantastic point. I'll be honest with you. He really was. I was shocked. When they showed video of him in school, he had more hair than muscles. I couldn't believe it.
Please don't kill me.
Oh, no, it's over for you, okay? You are fired. You know I love your face because I'm not really firing you.
I'm sorry.
Say hi to the nation.
Hello.
All right. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. Isn't John Jenkins a free agent? Tana, I think they're going to re-sign him. I do. And if they haven't already, if they haven't already, I think it's just like the same reason why they haven't reached out for Tyler Lockett yet. Or has Tyler Lockett landed somewhere else? I don't think he has. But I think that's just another veteran player situation where you have to, let that guy get some things in order, and then they come see about what they're going to do. Mason Graham at 6 would be dope. You seen what that D line in the S? Yeah. Well, Joseph, honestly, again, welcome to the show. Appreciate you. And I would say this to you: Mason Graham is a monster inside. Now, my guy Joe just a moment ago did a name drop and talked about Crosby, but he qualified it by saying, "I'm not saying this is Max Crosby." So I'm doing the same thing when I say Mason Graham is not Howie Long, but he's Howie Long-like. He tries to be like him with the quick off-the-ground move. He sometimes does a combination. After watching tape, I noticed this, and I thought it was pretty good. His hand fighting sometimes begins right as he comes out of his burst, where a lot of defensive linemen, they'll come out of their burst and they'll grab the guy and then decide right, left, am I going to spin, blah, 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 or am I going to bull rush? He seems to make a decision, and then if it's not there immediately, he can spin off of it. He can come back and double down. He's got interior moves that after watching a little footage of him, I like a lot. A lot of football minds will know this term when I make it. He swims. As a football term, most of you already understand what that means. For the few of you who don't, it just means he uses his arms extremely fluidly, and he always keeps them active. He's always swimming, using those swim moves to get through guys and past guys. And they have different hammer moves and stuff like that. They all have different names. But in effect, if you can swim, i.e. football swim, it means you're moving those arms through the other guy's arms, controlling his body and getting by him in that second after the ball is snapped, as opposed to 2-3 seconds in and letting the quarterback set his feet and do something with it. Oh, Jonathan, that's a man after my heart right there. See, that comment right there, that comment is football. A solid D-line makes everything else look elite. These are facts. And a solid offensive line makes offensive players look more elite. Agreed. So when you're still working on your offensive line, still have some things you need to work out, and Brock Bowers has a season like that anyway, I like what's coming. I do. I like what's coming, guys. I like what's coming. This Pete Carroll mojo is absolutely real. I'm confident now to say that. He always had that mojo, you know what I mean, when he was at USC. He really brought that with him to the Raiders. And he had it in Seattle. I think he lost it in Seattle, but I think he was there so long. They won a Super Bowl. They were made, these illustrious Hall of Famer, Legion of Boom defense. It all got so famous and so over the top. I just think that some of the bitterness climbed into it just because how do you spread the love if there's that much, all around you? It's just a hurricane of distractions. Bears should trade us their 10th pick, running back, and a second or third round pick for our 6th pick. Again, if Jeanty were at 6, but there's I just don't see it now. I don't see it now. After Jeanty's combine, and he was hot before that. You know what I mean? And then, I'm not trying to act like I didn't get a scoop, because I do feel like it was a scoop. But at the same time, I wasn't the only one that had it. You know what I mean? People did over here, Ashton Jeanty and our GM Spytech talking about Ashton Jeanty like kids in a toy store, talking about all the different plays they can run with him, and when they make the offensive line better, oh my God, and what he'll do for Geno. I mean, they were really hyped about it. Now, again, that could be just subterfuge. That could be them playing it up because they knew people were watching them. I don't know. But I kind of believe that that story, I believe. I believe they really are high on Ashton Jeanty, but only if he's at 6. I don't think they're going to move for him. If Hunter falls to 6, you got to take him. We need a wide receiver and a cornerback. Make his rookie cocky ass play both positions. Someone got me to say the A word just now. I apologize. It's not really a bad word. It's what we call donkeys, but you know. Hey. Tony Carpenter Evans on deck. What's up, Air Force? Always love to see Tony Carpenter Evans in the house. Jim Garrison. The only reason I'm skeptical of that, I don't want him to play two sides of the ball. And I'd be honest with you, most NFL scouts are going to agree, or excuse me, most NFL coaches are going to agree with me. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. For example, so what if he can play both sides? In other words, that might have been exciting in college, but in the NFL, you have the best of the best of the best from drafts year after year after year and undrafted free agency and so on. And now you're telling me you can't find anybody that could take him out of one of those two positions? You know, I'm just going to assume that after this draft and free agency and some undrafted free agents, we will have something at wide receiver that works. So he'll only have to be a corner. I don't really want to see him. Well, he is fast, though. Gosh, and when I saw him on his wide receiver plays, it was pretty impressive. Maybe make him the one at wide receiver. Bring him in and just do that. And instead of moving to corner, I don't want him getting banged up trying to play defense. Just let him be a great wide receiver. Then that's interesting. The only way we can go wrong is if we don't use the 6th pick on Jeanty, Graham, or Membo. I'll also be okay with us moving back a few spots for extra picks to help build the roster. Yeah, that was my scenario earlier, 10 to 12, 10 through 12, 11, 10, 11, 12. I would be fine with that because you're still getting a hell of a player. You know what I mean? You're saving a lot of money. You know what I mean? Not that we need to, but I mean, when you do that, it just allows you to spread the wealth even further. Joe, we Joes, don't let the secret out, but we Joes, we're all like mentally connected, you know what I'm saying? Troy Gill, no trade up, trade down. We so many holes on the team and get extra picks to fill them. Troy Gill, I can see that. I would like to see the Raiders draft Jeanty at 6 and trade up back into the first round to take the best available quarterback on the board, maybe Dart. Half of that, Dustin King, I can tell you, I think they'll take Jeanty if he's at 6. But if Travis Hunter and Jeanty are available at 6, now you have an issue. If Abdul Carter were to somehow fall that far, stop arguing with me, were to somehow fall that far, you'd have to look at it. That's all I'm saying. He won't, but just for the sake of conversation. And then as far as Dart, I don't think Dart will be on the board after like 13, 14, and there's still a lot of picks in the first round, 20, 28, 20, whatever, but there's so many picks. So that's why I could see him being in there. Jeremy McCray, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Pete Vasquez, always there for R8RBEAR. Appreciate the respect, brother. Good to see you. Yeah, Tanamoku, I like the idea of getting Max Crosby a bookend, but at the same time, there's bookends playing in the NFL right now. We could trade for, we could make moves for, and so on and so forth. There are, and I always want proven talent over draft picks. I just do. Marvin Suarez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm excited to see what sweet heat Pete Carroll is going to bring to the table, and I'm sure I hope he delivers a couple of whoopings to those big-time Super Bowl losers, the murdered KC Queefs. Welcome to the show, brother. Listen, I got to tell you, I think Pete Carroll is bringing that mojo. I really do. I really do. And I like everything that's happening right now. I think there's going to be some nice growth here. I think that Geno Smith is going to be a nice starter for us. I think he's going to surprise some people. I can say to you honestly, look at what happened with Sam Darnold, guys. Sam Darnold was considered to be a high pick bust by the Jets. He moved around to 2 or 3 teams after that who all considered him, a guy you take a chance on. Maybe he does have some starter left in him. Who knows? If not, keep him as backup. Then after that, he was perceived as a backup, and everywhere he went, it was, hey, Sam Darnold, we know who he is. You know what I mean? He's this. He throws picks sometimes, and he gets under pressure, and he makes mistakes, and sometimes he fumbles, and blah, 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 blah. Then Sam Darnold went to the Vikings. And suddenly, Sam Darnold was the best quarterback in football for like 10, 11 straight games. So see, if you can see that, it doesn't matter if you don't understand how Stonehenge was made. It's right there. You can look at it. Look, Stonehenge. Okay? How'd they move those huge boulders? They weigh tons. I don't know. But, I don't have to tell you how it happened. I'm just telling you, you're going, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what Sam Darnold did to the league. These owners are saying, hey, man, I mean, we have to scout these guys better. I need better talent, people. I need better advice from these other NFL teams and owners and scouts, because how does that guy end up languishing around the league and then just goes to the Vikings, who have a good staff, you know what I mean? But it's not like they're magical. The Vikings have been languishing as middle of the road team for a long time. You know what I mean? And haven't been really relevant at all. And then they got Sam Darnold, and people started picking him to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm just saying, before everybody's like, oh my God, blah, blah, be careful what you have to say. Jeanty or Sheduer need game changers now. No more playing it safe. Gabe, welcome to the show. Congratulations. That's a beautiful family you have there. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if we have to go for the best running back in football. And I don't know that we have to go for what is, by most coaching standards, the best quarterback available in this draft. Next to him, Cam Ward, 1A1. And I like Mason Graham. I like Mason Graham a lot. We've talked on this show a lot. We've talked about drafts a lot. I've thrown a lot of names at you. But what I've said consistently is that I think they're going to pick Jeanty. I love Quinn Ewers. The Raiders had him in for 2 separate visits. 2. Not the normal once. Maybe, go over and talk to him, take a flyer on him. No. They had Quinn Ewers in twice. So, and for those of you who have not been watching my show regularly, I say that because I picked Quinn Ewers months ago, almost a year ago. I gave you Quinn Ewers. I'm telling you. Quinn Ewers got that thing. He got that thing. He does, I'm telling you. And it's just, the NFL's going to see it. Someone's going to see it. He's going to make some money. He's going to be great, I think. Bear, will Sheduer Sanders get a chance to compete for starter on our team, or just compete at backup against AOC? And okay, first, Arnie, wait a minute, 10 seconds. I want to go back to that last comment. Did I answer your question? Need game changers now, no more playing safe. Okay, I agree with no more playing it safe. I agree with game changers. And I just don't agree that it has to be Sheduer or Jeanty without it. And if you don't get those guys, they're not game changers. I think there's other guys that could be game changers. And I know that's not what you were saying. You weren't saying that there isn't anybody else. But, great comment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to the show again. Okay, will Sheduer Sanders get a chance to compete for starter on our team? The answer is no. Because you gave Geno Smith a 2-year deal, and then you gave him his bonus up when he got here and restructured his deal. So he's happy as he can get. He's got $75 million. I think 45 of it is guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. It might be higher than that. But it's a commitment. It's a commitment. And if you notice, it's a 2-year deal with some maybe in a third, where Pete Carroll's is a 2-year. See, so this feels like the last ride. This feels like 2 guys that are on a road trip to hell, and this is their last chance. And Pete Carroll with Geno Smith is saying, come on, kid. I believe in you. I trust you. We did it in Seattle. So now let's do it in Las Vegas, where the lights are the brightest. We're going to take one of the most iconic franchises in football history, and we're going to go get us a Super Bowl. And if it isn't this year, damn it, it's going to be next year. Now let's go get something. And if Pete Carroll said that to me, man, I'm running through a wall. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm ready. And that's how he talks to people. That's what I've been saying for a while now. The quarterbacks in the league would fear us, right? Vicky Ginn. Hi, love. I appreciate you checking in. I'm glad to see you're feeling better. Bear, give us one bold prediction for our draft. Ooh. One bold prediction for our draft. Okay. Okay, I'm going to say something crazy that will sound crazy because I think that we almost never are able to come together as one and really agree on what happened or what was done in the draft. I think Raider Nation in unison is going to be excited after this draft. I don't think we're going to make any picks where people are scratching their heads and wondering what the hell we're doing, even if it's drafting down. Because remember, Pete Carroll is at his heart, he's like a talent scout. He thinks that he can just look at a guy the same way a guy looks at a thoroughbred and can go, oh yeah, that horse, oh yeah, he's a rain runner, he's going to win today. It's been raining, it's going to be good in the mud. He seems like he's one of those guys that reads players really well. And when I say that, I mean like what they need to hear to be the most motivated they can possibly be and prepared they can possibly be. He seems to do that. And I think with the Raiders, his focus is going to be greater than ever. Remember, when you've been at one job for a really long time, when you leave, you usually go to that new job with a new energy. You know what I mean? Because if you left the other job, it's usually because you're going to get a lot more money, you're getting a promotion, more responsibility, a corporate car, who knows what. So if that happens, you go in there now to really impress people. I'm really going to show I deserve all of this. I think Pete Carroll is going in to say, I deserve these accolades. I deserve what's been said about me. And this is the last ride, and I'm going to treat it as such. And I'm going to spend every nickel and build a winner right now. You only trade up if it's a stud quarterback, which in my opinion, there's not one in this draft, or if you're a team that's a player or so away, which we are not. You should pick at 6 or trade down for more draft capital and draft Jahdae Barron. I like Jahdae Barron. Welcome to the show, Marcus Atchison again. Appreciate you, brother. Comments are always on point. And I agree. Everything you just said is logical, but I don't like the trade down for the same reason some of my viewers don't like it, but I also have my own reason why I don't like trading down. Let me hit you with this before I end the show because we're getting toward the tail end. I have a few more minutes. But I don't like the idea of trading back because it's not an aggressive mindset. And I think that as a coach and an owner, you have to have an aggressive mindset in all things with your players. Whether that's giving him a huge contract when no one thought you would, or re-signing a guy that used to be there and you still feel like they've got something left. There has to be emotion in football. It's what emotion is built into all of us. When we're younger, when we're first coming up through sports, emotion is what drives us. When you become an adult, that doesn't change. And so someone like Pete Carroll, who's so good at touching those chords, I think he's going to pick straight up. I think Spytek and him are going to pick straight up. I think when they do, every pick they pick, we're going to go, damn, how did all these teams miss that guy? You know what I mean? I think we're going to see a lot of that. I really do. I love what I think we're going to do in the late rounds. I really do. I think a lot of those late round picks, I think those are going to be used, but I think they're going to be packaged in a sort of way to where maybe a draft position that we have where we can be aggressive, like one of our like at 5 or 6th round, right? Maybe you package something with your 6s, your remaining 6 or 7, or package of a 5 and a 7, that kind of thing. I could see them doing something with their picks later on, but not necessarily to move up. I think just to make it, it's obviously, I'm sorry, I apologize. It is moving up, no matter what round it is. I only think of moving up as like a first round thing to do. But I think they could package things to move up just a handful of spaces to pick someone that they see is still on the board, that they just can't believe is still on the board. And that on their war room study, this guy should have been picked in the 4th or 5th round. And instead you're in the 7th, 6th, and the guy's still there. You evaluate him as my math's off. You evaluate him as a 3 or a 4. He falls to 5. So you package a 6 and a 7 to move up to that 5 and get that guy. And they'll do it for just a 6 and a 7 because anyone you're picking in the 5th is someone you'll consider it. Sub Bear, got a night to catch the show. I want a Foots. I buy it, please. It's the only one I have. It was made for me by a friend. It's the only one I have. I've never made them to sell or anything like that. Absolutely, Corinna. Much love to you, girl. Let's see. How do you feel about Jalen Walker and trading back for him? Maybe trade back in the late first to grab Omarion Hampton. Jalen Walker, I like. Jalen Walker, I could see it. I've even had some talk of the Raiders liking Jalen Walker. His name has come up in rumors that I've been hearing. So you might be onto something with Jalen Walker. Omarion Hampton, if he's still on the board, you have to consider that. But I don't know if he'll be on the board once you get by rounds 2, 3, and 4. We get back to crapshoot. Vernon Moshman, all potential top names in the draft of the Raiders shock us and draft that one guy, leaving us saying, who give me that guy's name, Bear? Vernon Moshman, welcome to the show. Appreciate the laugh. And I got to say, and I want to say this clearly, I really do believe this is going to be the draft. This is going to be the one where Raider Nation goes, okay. Everyone right down the line there. I mean, there might be one or two weird ones, but I mean, I doubt it. I don't think there's going to be. I really don't. Jay Davis says they ballin' this year, right? He doesn't have to play both sides of the ball consistently. You create a couple plays for him. Jonathan, I don't like it. I just don't like it. I get what you're saying. You make packages. I just don't like it. The steal of the draft is going to be Kyle Williams, the receiver out of Washington State. He reminds me of a young Antonio Brown, but before the CTE. He was still good even after the CTE. He was just dumb, I'll say ass one more time since everyone's got me saying ass tonight. Raiders! What's up, Raider Paul? Let me see. I like Mason Graham at 6 also. Right on. Tom Brady loves Quinn. Troy, I have been hearing that. I do know that was part of the reason why he was actually brought in twice. I believe that he made such a good impression on Tom that Tom then talking to the rest of the staff basically said, I want this guy in one more time. I have a couple more things I want to say to him. So see, to me, I could see them going for a Quinn Ewers. Quinn is not a high-ranked guy. I mean, anytime you're in the top 10, you're a high-ranked guy. I apologize. I'm misspeaking a lot tonight. I'm sorry. I'm rusty. Quinn Ewers, I think, is the 4th or 6th highest-ranked quarterback right now in most polls. And I think that's a guy that, even with that higher ranking, he's going to understand. We just gave Geno Smith his deal. It's better for you to come in, see him run this franchise for a year. Now, there's a twofold thing in this that's actually good for us. If we get him and Geno plays great, he sees and he learns and we keep him healthy. Then in year 2, even if Geno had a great year, if it didn't end in a Super Bowl, you can argue that you could start to talk about bringing in the other guy, because that's the politics of and the finance of football in this era. You can't have these 4-year young quarterbacks that you don't know if they're good enough to be the man, and you've got them on the cheapest contract you're ever going to get them on, because every contract after this is going to be payroll for quarterbacks at that rate. And it does nothing but go up year after year after year because of the value of quarterbacks, because of the value overall of quarterbacks. You have to get that guy from the second best quarterback to first as quickly as you can, because if you don't, you're just going to have problems. Lots and lots of problems. What did that do to me? Oh, there it is. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Steven Shaw and Mrs. Shaw. And I just went to the post office today. Corinna, I have something on the way that I owed you. If I was supposed to send it somewhere else, I apologize. But that's how it went down. Much love. R8RBEAR, R8RBEAR family pays. I'll see you tomorrow night. Peace. I mean, it doesn't have to be peaceful. It could be